anglers, I'm Kel Kellogg and this is the Fish Hunt Shoot Productions YouTube channel. What I have here, I have two floating Rapalas. I have a beautiful jointed Rapala in a rainbow trout pattern, and I have a standard floating Rapala in, you could say it's a kokanee pattern or a smelt pattern. It's black on top, silver on the sides, white on the belly. For a lot of guys, a lot of trout anglers, these represent big fish lures. These are the lures a lot of guys grab when they're at a lake that has big trout and they are looking to go big, but that's not true for me. When I want to go big, when I want to go really big, my confidence bait, my Rapala, if you will, is a trolling fly. Check out my fly box. I literally have hundreds of trolling flies. They flat out fish, they catch big fish. Check out this footage and I'll be right back to give you my thoughts. This is all. Another hog on the trolling fly. Look at that. What a stud. That's what trolling flies can do. I keep saying it. Trolling flies, they're my #1 big trout offering. Look at that stud. Awesome fish. Okay guys, that was a white fly, 23 feet deep. I'm gonna cope with the breeze here. I got something really big on. Don't know how big, pretty sure it's a trout. He's tearing off line. He's just tearing off line. He's coming up to jump. Getting back down. I got a second line out here, dealing with some shallow water. This feels like a monster. It's pushing a big wake back there. Beautiful trout. How big he is. He's all 4 pounds. What a fight. Got him. There's the trout. Look at that. Look at that stud. That's what trolling flies can do. What a beautiful rainbow. I'll get him revived, figure out this dangle here, and we'll get that fly back in the water. Fire.
There you go. Nice fish. Very good. Excellent. Let's get a shot of that.
Look how big he is. Wow.
Look at that. Nice fish, guys.
Hard to beat that trolling fly. Hard to beat that trolling fly. That is an olive and green fly, and he's into another line. Holy mackerel. Let's get a look at that fish. There's a fly right there. There's the fish. What a beauty. Very cool.
Look at this.
Big freaking rainbow there.
Very good. Reel. Just go over my head. Oh yeah, you got it.
That's it, boys. That is it. Fantastic. 10 pounds easy. 10 pounds easy. Pull line off. Pull line off.
What do you got there, Lynn?
A 10-pounder.
10 pound. What'd you catch it on?
A fly.
Trolling fly. What a monstrous fish. That's the kind of fish you get at Cos Lake, and that's the kind of fish trolling flies produce. If you were in doubt about the effectiveness of trolling flies, that footage should have cleared it up for you. Trolling flies tempt big trout. I don't care if you're fishing for planted trout at Collins Lake, or if you're chasing wild trout at a lake like Davis, Elminor, deep water trout at Shasta, shallow water trout at French Meadows Reservoir. Trolling flies tempt big fish, and for me, they tempt more and bigger fish than traditional big fish baits like Rapalas. Why is that? Well, I have a simple theory. I believe that there are far fewer guys. I know there are far fewer guys pulling trolling flies than are out there pulling, Rapalas or Castmasters or Yozuri minnow baits. And flies are something, when you're pulling something that the fish don't see, they're more apt to hit it. If a fish hits a Rapala and doesn't get landed, maybe he gets hooked and shakes it, maybe he just hits it and doesn't get hooked. That fish has that in his, I don't want to say his mind, because trout don't operate on that level. They don't sit around thinking analytically, but they do learn. And that fish has learned that that lure, that object moving in that way, making that sound, is not something to eat. So when a trolling fly comes through their area and they haven't seen it, and you're giving the fish the first exposure they've had to the trolling fly, you have a very good chance of catching that fish. And because of the texture of the fly, you have a much better chance of that fish coming up. I mean, flies are soft. That fish is going to come up. This is rabbit hair and some marabou. That fish is going to come up, and that fly is just going to fold up in his mouth. He's going to engulf it. He's going to be hooked well, and you have a very good chance of landing that fish. Whereas if he comes up and he hits this Rapala, he's going to know instantly if he hits that, that is not a bait fish. It might look like a bait fish and it might move like a bait fish, but when he touches it, he's going to know straight away that's not a bait fish. Conversely, when he grabs this fly, it's going to feel soft, it's going to feel lifelike, and those few hundredths of a second that he keeps this fly in his mouth are to your advantage. You're going to hook fish deeper, you're going to hook fish better, and you're going to land more big fish if you're trolling flies. I've experimented with flies a great deal over the past 3 years or so. Kind of standard thoughts about trolling flies is that it's a slow presentation. They work great when trolled slow. But what I found, what Wes has found, we found that you could troll these in excess of 3 miles an hour. We were out just the other day at Collins Lake, and we had a boat coming into our trolling spread. It was a guy in a rental boat. He wasn't aware that we were top line of flies, 200 feet behind the boat. He was just kind of doing his thing. He had a couple little kids on the boat. Well, Wes goosed the throttle to clear our gear from his path, because our flies were only about 2 feet deep. Well, our speed peaked up to about 3.8 miles an hour, and we instantly got slammed by about a 3.5 pound trout that he just blitzed that fast moving fly. The faster I troll flies, I'm just amazed. The faster I troll flies fast, and I'm getting tongue-tied here, I keep catching fish no matter how fast I troll. And there's a top end to that, certainly. But I can go out, I can troll flies at, quote-unquote Rapala speed, 3 miles an hour, and absolutely continue catching fish. I can also take a fly like this and troll the side of a threaded worm at 1.5 miles an hour. I could troll it next to a Dick Knight spoon at, 1 mile an hour. So, big advantages. Fish hit them and hold them. They don't see them as much as they see other lures. They can be used at a wide variety of different speeds, and you can use them at a wide variety of depths. Many times, if the surface temperature is below 65 degrees, I'll troll a fly right under the surface chop, 1 foot deep, 150, 200 feet behind the boat, just barely under the surface. Very effective. That's what I was doing at Elmonor 3 years ago when I caught my personal best wild rainbow, 7 pounds. I was trolling a smelt pattern fly with 1 split shot on a top line at about 2.2 miles an hour. You can also drop these down on a downrigger. That's been the pattern for the last week or so for Wes and I at Collins Lake. We're fishing them anywhere from 15 to 25 feet deep, and we're doing very well on big fish. Our numbers bait is a naked worm. Our big fish bait is a trolling fly. Very complementary presentations. We're going along at about 1.8 miles an hour, and we're catching fish on both baits. We're catching a lot of smaller fish, pan-sized fish, getting a lot of action on the worm, but we're putting a lot of big fish in the boat with the trolling flies. So the moral of this story is, and I don't care if you buy my trolling flies, I sell all kinds of different flies here on the channel. They are fish killers. But again, I don't care if you're trolling my flies. You need to have somebody's trolling flies in your arsenal because they are going to help you catch more and bigger fish. You got to have some confidence when you first start out. You got to give them a chance to work. Guys will take a Rapala out of the box and troll it for 2 hours because that plug has the reputation for producing fish. A lot of guys will put on a trolling fly and they tell me this, well, I trolled it for 15 minutes and I wasn't feeling it and I took it off. Give trolling flies a chance. They will absolutely prove their worth, and I suspect you're going to end up just like me. They are going to be your go-to big fish lure when you need to go big. You're going to rig up with a trolling fly. You're going to team it with a wiggle disc. You're going to get it wet, and you're going to have a lot of confidence because it will produce time and time again. Anyway, that's my thoughts about trolling flies. That's kind of a public service announcement. I want you guys to catch more and bigger trout, and I am confident that the one thing lacking from most guys' arsenal is a set of trolling flies. Get the flies. Get after those trout. Look at that fly. That thing's beautiful. Anyway, I'm out of here for now. If you want some of my trolling flies, go on over to fishhuntshoot.com. Check out all my gear. I got spoons and flies and all kinds of stuff, soft plastics and more. I'm signing off for now. I want you guys to stay safe out there. I want you to wear those life jackets, particularly if you're in a smaller craft or you're out on moving water, a river, you know, something like that, a stream, in a canoe, in a kayak. I just want you to be safe. I can't afford to lose any fans, and I will catch you next time right here on YouTube, guys. Thanks for all the support. I'm Kel Kellogg.